Inmate County, the State Bureau of Investigation is looking into the death of an inmate at the jail, 41-year-old Trumaine White, October 4th.
Nearly a month later, unanswered questions still surround our Quentin Smith speaks with the attorney representing White's family. Quentin joins us now to tell us what we've learned so far. Quentin.
That's right, Courtney. And attorney Bobby DiCello is representing the family of Trumaine White. He's investigating himself what happened. While there are still more questions than answers right now, he believes excessive force used by law enforcement officers played a role in White.
Right now, as we look into this, we are considering whether this is racially motivated. We are considering whether this was excessively violent.
Bobby DiCello has now been brought in to represent the family of Trumaine White. The 41-year-old was a truck driver who earlier this month while behind bars at the Inmate County Jail.
How does such a minor moment end?
Though things are in the early stages of the investigation, DiCello says, here's what we know so far. On October 3rd or 4th, he says, White went into a tire shop in Liberty to buy a tire. As he was leaving, he threw something out of his window. An employee at the tire shop then called police and claimed it was a clear white baggie with a white powdery substance. However, White refuted that claim, saying it was a paper towel that he threw out. The 41-year-old then went to eat at a local restaurant. Not long after, that's when law enforcement officers came in and arrested him and took him to jail. White later at the Inmate County Jail on October 4th.
What we see right now suggests that the officer's conduct directly contribute to his directly.
At this time, DiCello says there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Things such as which agency arrested White? What charge or charges was he given? How many hours did he spend in jail before his was excessive force used? What was the exact cause of all answers? DiCello is now working to find out.
He wasn't standing outside and fell down and then passed away in the jail. He didn't fall down and then go to the hospital in the jail. He was arrested. He expressed that he did not want to be arrested. We know that, and we know that the officers forcibly took him into jail. Now, how much force is used, who uses that force, and when are all part of our facts that we're developing in our investigation right now.
Now, we reached out to the Liberty Police and the Mid-County Sheriff's Departments about White's arrest, and neither gave us any information, only saying MBI is now handling this case. A spokesperson with the Department of Public Safety released this statement to us saying, agents are continuing to investigate and gather evidence and information. This remains an open and ongoing investigation. The coroner tells us an autopsy report is still being done at this time, so we do not know the exact cause of White. Quentin Smith, 3 on your side.
All right. Peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. And yet this is another story about another black man dying in the custody of jail or prison official. In this case, it is the case of 41-year-old Trumaine White, who was a truck driver who hailed from Liberty, Mississippi. But at the time he was living in, I think, Pennsylvania, and was only home to visit his mother. And his demise happened in the Inmate County Jail in Liberty, Mississippi. And that news clip just tells a little of the story. Now, I covered this story back in October of last year when it happened. It happened on October the 4th. But there's a lot to this case which they have questions, but I have answers. I've been communicating with the family. I have copies of the autopsy results, and the autopsy results show definitely that there was other people involved in his demise, and I've not been authorized to talk about that. But let me just talk about what I do know after calling down there to the Inmate County Sheriff Office. And, I played that tape. Y'all can go back and listen to that video. They were, we don't have no comment. We're not talking about that. I did call the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation earlier this week, and I talked to an investigator who said, yes, they are investigating it. And at the time, he said that he was writing up the report, and he's going to release that to the grand jury. So evidently, if something's being released to the grand jury, there's evidence. Anytime something is released to the grand jury, there's evidence that a crime may have been committed. Now it's up to the grand jury to indict the individuals whom the crime is being perpetrated by. But if you're not familiar with the story, Trumaine White visited a tire shop. He bought a tire. He drove off and threw a paper towel out the window. Somebody called the police and said that he threw a white bag with some powdery substance, basically saying it was drugs. But that white bag has never surfaced, right? If this incident is so well known, of course, they would have immediately showed the white bag. Yeah, this is the white bag he threw out. But there was no white bag. However, he went to a store called the Moose Store. Moose Store is like a gas station where they also serve food. So he was in there eating. The police came in. I actually talked to the proprietor of that store. And if you go back and listen to the tape, I asked, okay, how was the interaction with Trumaine and the police? And the guy said it was severe. It was severe. Pretty much, he was saying that, the cops, like the news person said, they forcibly took him, but really, they was beating him. And Trumaine, from my understanding, from my intuition, from my experience, he probably fought back because he wasn't from there. Now, Liberty is a small town, about 500 people, and those small southern towns, it's a lot of old-time ways, just to say that. I talked to the people at the Moose Store, and they were like, don't you come around here causing no trouble. It was that type of attitude from them. However, Trumaine had lived somewhere else, and he wasn't about to go to jail for something that he didn't do. So, in my opinion, he probably was, giving them the business. And, the police, some reports said they drug him behind the store and, they worked him over. Nevertheless, he finally got to the Inmate County Jail. And at the jail, he was never charged. He was never put in the system. But when his mother came down there to visit him, they didn't say, he was charged with anything. They did let her see him. He was sitting on a bench. And it was at that time that Trumaine White told his mother, I'm sorry, Mom, but they are going to kill me tonight. Those was his last words to his mother. And the next day, his mother got the call, or she actually wanted to go up there. She went up there and was told that he was found in his cell. And I wish I could, talk about the autopsy results because, at the time of this news article, they haven't had them, but those autopsy results are heinous, to say the least. They're unbelievable. Let's say that. So, I've been in contact with the family. They have, required or attained the services of the man that you heard speaking. And he asked a lot of questions. How could such a minor incident end like that? But also, who arrested him? Because he was not logged into the system. Also, his body was transported way down to Pearl, Mississippi, I think, for 4 days before, he was allowed, the family was allowed to get the body. So we don't know what happened during that time. But the Inmate County, because everybody always correct me, Inmate County Sheriff Department are tight-lipped. As you see, The news people reached out to him. They said it's an ongoing investigation. Talked to the, the MBI, and once again, when I talked to him, they did tell me that it was under investigation. I would play the call, but I don't want to compromise any integrity or any intent of that agency if they are truly and duly investigating this as it should be. Once again, Trumaine White was 41 years old. Trucker didn't live there, and was just home visiting his mother. And, to be taken forcibly to jail against his will for something, that someone said he did. There's no proof. So hopefully they will do the right thing down there in Inmate County. If you go listen to the calls, they don't even have the current DA up there on the website. And I called one office. It was a joint office. The lady was supposed to be the DA, but it was also a real estate office. And, so they got that type of deal going on down there. So, and at the initial time when I first covered the story, there was no coverage. It was an article with about 7 sentences. And so I think with the help of, others, and, a shout out to my brother Markel Bridges down there. You probably don't want me to shout him out, but that's a local activist down there who has been bringing light to the situation. So now we see that, it is a situation in which has been covered by news stations, but also is investigated by the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on this story. And this is just another incident. We all know the story. We've all seen the story of the inmate Robert Brooks up there in New York. There's countless other incidents of inmate brutality, whether it's in jail or prison, that has not been brought to light. But this happened more often than more often than you can think or imagine. And so, once again, the prayers go out to, Trumaine's family. Once again, I'm in contact with that family, his lovely mother. I can imagine what she's going through, as well as the other relatives, while grieving, still trying to find justice. That is the most hard part about it, when you're going through these things and you're in shock, but you still have to fight for justice, which is almost like you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back. So, much love goes to that family. We want to keep an eye on this. I just wanted to update the public on this situation due to the other instances around the country that, people go to jail and never come out and nobody says nothing. Everybody is tight-lipped. And so that is the danger that we see within these small towns, or not even small towns, within these locations, within these proximities, where nobody knows what happened except the person who does the crime, and they are able to create the narrative. So hopefully this is a case where that narrative will be exposed and the perpetrators will be brought to justice. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings.